Here we are going to look at simplifying fractions. To simplify something is to make something simpler or easier to understand. So you can see, looking at these pizzas below, the 4/8 is exactly the same as a half. It shows the same amount, it's just the half is a simplified fraction of 4/8. So to simplify fractions, you are going to make the numbers in the fraction as small as possible without changing the meaning of it. So to simplify a fraction, we need to first look to see if a number will fit into the numerator and the denominator. This number needs to be bigger than 1. If it does, you want to divide both the numerator and the denominator by this number. You need to keep doing this until it can't be simplified any further, so that the only number that will fit into both of the numbers, the numerator and the denominator, is 1. So if we have a look at this 4/8, we first want to look to see if a number will fit into 4 and 8. And a lot of people will say 2 because they're both even. So if we divide both of these numbers by 2, 4 divided by 2 gives us 2, and 8 divided by 2 gives us 4. Okay, but we need to look at this fraction to make sure it can't be simplified any further. And 2 will also fit into 2 and 4 as they are both still even. So we need to do this again, we need to halve it again. So if we divide this fraction by 2 now, 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. Now this is in its simplest form because the only number that will fit into 1 and 2 is 1, so it can't be simplified any further. Now there is a quicker way of doing this. If you pick the highest number possible that will go into the fraction at the beginning, so the highest number possible to go into 4 and 8 is 4. So if you divide by 4 straight away, 4 divided by 4 gives you 1, and 8 divided by 4 gives you 2. And you get down to that simplified fraction quicker. So if you pick the highest number that will fit into both the numerator and the denominator, it will speed up the process. So we're going to have a little look at some examples now. So we're going to simplify number 1 first of all, 15 over 25. So we need to think of a number that fits into 15 and into 25. And they both end in 5s, so 5 will fit into both. So we're going to divide both numbers by 5. 15 divided by 5 gives us 3. And 5 goes into 25 5 times. Looking at this fraction, 3/5, no number will fit into 3 and 5 other than 1. So this is in its simplest form, so we can't simplify it any further. Question 2, 4 over 16. So we want to try and think of the biggest number that will fit into 4 and into 16. Well, we know 2 does because they're both even. If we check 4, 4 fits into 4 and it fits into 16. So we're going to divide by 4 to try and save us some time. So 4 divided by 4 is 1, and 16 divided by 4, 4, 8, 12, 16, it goes in 4 times. So our simplest fraction is a quarter for this. But when you have a 1 on the numerator, we know it can't go any smaller. So that's in its simplest form. Number 3, 14 over 42. So slightly higher number on the denominator here, so a little bit trickier. So we want to think of a number that goes into 14 and 42. So we know 2 does, and you might not be sure of any others. So if not, halve them first. Okay, so we're going to divide both of these by 2 because 14 and 42 are even. So half of 14 is 7. Half of 42, well half of 40 is 20. Half of 2 is 1, so 21. Looking at this fraction to make sure it can't be simplified any further, we've got 7 and 21. Well, we know 7 will fit into 7. Does it fit into 21? 7, 14, 21, yes it does. So we can divide by 7 here. 7 goes into 7 once, and 7 fits into 21 3 times. And again, we have a 1 on the numerator which can't go any smaller, so that is in its simplest form. So the answer is 1/3. Finally, 54 over 81. So we've got a 54 an even number, 81 an odd number. So we can't divide by 2 here to make the numbers smaller to help us. So we need to think of a different number. Now some of you might be thinking 81, 9 times 9 is 81. So if we know 9 fits into 81, should we try 54? And if we remember our tricks with our fingers, checking if 54 is in the 9 times table, then it is. 9 times 6 is 54. So 9 will fit into 54 and 81. So if we start off by dividing by 9, 54 divided by 9, like I said, is 6. And then 9 goes into 81 9 times, because 9 times 9 is 81, which has brought our fraction down much smaller very quickly. 6 over 9 then, so we need to think, does any number fit into 6 and 9? Again, 6 is even and 9 is odd, so 2 doesn't. But always check your 3's with this. 3 does fit into 6 and it does fit into 9. So if we divide by 3 here, 3 goes into 6 twice, and 3 goes into 9 3 times to give us 2/3. And only 1 will fit into 2 and 3. It can't go any smaller, so that's your final answer.